Absolutely. You love the old communion wine, don't you, there, Bishop Brennan?
We're live
Absolutely.
now, Mr. Bronson.
I'm really, Mike. Top left-hand corner, you don't think I can see it live saying we're 13 seconds in.
Oh, there you go. And just
I can't see, Mike.
want to
I
keep you in
can
check.
see. I do have eyes.
Have
So,
you?
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's show of Mauls, Balls and All the Breakdown. We are live on Ruckus via Facebook and Mauls, Balls and All on YouTube. Tonight we have Mike Reedy, Matt Boland, and of course Garrow Two-Tone, as affectionately known as Bishop Brennan in the group, has a fair lip for the old communion wine from time to time, as
Never.
he's.
No. Don't touch the stuff, or Danny.
I thought he had the pints for there. He had the pints for there in front of you before he came on.
Well,
How
that's
about
That was
you?
water.
don't touch
That
wine.
was water, but somehow it just always turns black when he fucking pours it.
Yeah,
What?
as long as it's the right black stuff, you know.
And
You
what are
don't
the
want anything. You don't want anything to go from Beamish or Murphy's or anything like
Oh,
that, you know.
fuck that shit? That's not even comparable.
I like
Yeah,
any of them. Any of them.
yeah. Evening as well, anyway, Bevan. Let's see. Gregor Galway in here as well. Evening all. No
Evening,
talking
Gregor.
hurling because Peter Burke will go mad.
Come on,
No,
Gregor. Fair play to you.
no. To be honest with you, Matt, you did say you wanted to make a mention to that, didn't you?
Ask me ours.
Which one?
Whichever fucking one you want to talk to, Danny. That's no problem. I'll show you both.
Uh, uh, Jeez, James, you're in there. Look, keep the dad jokes away, James. Okay, we don't want to hear them. That's a Thursday night thing. Keep the dad jokes within. All right. Easy, by the way, James. Let's. I suppose we'll start it off. First test. Lions 27 at Australia 19. Len, what are your thoughts on that game?
Me.
Yeah, you're
Same
Leonard,
as
aren't
Lenny.
you?
Yeah. Look, fuck lads. It was more the same, to be quite honest with you. I said it last time around. It's getting kind of boring. You know, all the hype about this Lions tour, every Lions tour. So far, apart from the Argentinian game, there's been no sense of jeopardy about any of the games. To be quite honest with you, and outside the World Cup, the Lions is supposed to be the sort of the pinnacle of rugby that showcases the game to the world. Give me the Six Nations any day of the week. To be quite honest with you, I know it's down in Australia. We said before that it'll probably be a 3-0 win for the Lions because Australia just don't have the personnel. Now, and look, it showed on the day they were missing the likes of Skelton and those two big flankers, Valentini and Gleason. But even still, look, the first half, I enjoyed the first half. They went out, they eliminated the handling errors. They were fairly slick, a lot of attacking threat. Defensively, they were immense. They just kept pushing the Aussies out to the wings, and they had no answer. Then we had the second half, and it kind of went a little bit tits up because, he threw lads on from the bench, and I don't know, I could be wrong here, but I think you're going to see a hell of a lot of the squad appearing at some stage in a test match because I think he can afford to. And I think Farrell is the kind of guy that would like to give everybody, even if it's only 10 minutes, to say that they played one of the tests. You know what I mean? The way this is going to go, I reckon a lot of lads will see game time. But on the other hand, allowing for the personnel of Australia and the lack of players, to me, the biggest thing was it was hard to believe that was actually a team coached by Joe Schmidt because they were fucking headless they were just going nowhere in the first half. Really, were they had not. Okay, maybe it's testament to the Lions, and defensively we were excellent. But yeah, I just that was the big. I just thought Schmidt would have them better prepared. But then on the other hand, like I said, you had Michael Linus son Tom there on the starting at 10. The young fella has 3 fucking caps. You know what I mean? As opposed to Finn Russell, who is, whether you love him or loathe him, he's one of the highest paid rugby players in the world. So up against the young fella with 3 caps. So then on the wings, what would you have? You had Jorgensen, and who was on the other wing? Oh, fucking Harry Potter, not the magician, on the other wing, right? And those 2 lads, they have 11 tests, fucking, or caps between them on the 2 wings for Australia, as opposed to Freeman and Lowe, which have over 60 between the 2 of them. So it was really fucking boys against men at the end of the day. And yet, the probably weakest element of the Lions on the day was our back 3. Keenan didn't have a great game. Look, in all fairness, he hasn't had a lot of game time under his belt. Lowe was very unusually poor by his standards, to be quite honest with you. He just didn't have a great game. And I don't really rate Freeman all that much anyway, to begin with.
I just want to say a quick hi, Christopher Goff and Michael Dunn here as well anyway. They're 2 that's joining, so we'll get a few more comments in a minute. But you were saying there anyway then?
Yeah, look, I was just saying that the back 3 didn't, apart from that, they were all pretty fucking good. And look, I've seen a lot, especially English media, saying that Tom Curry was absolutely exceptional. I don't know your views on that. We'll probably hear him later. I thought he was okay. And he certainly, my point of view, he wouldn't offer you anything that Van der Fleer wouldn't offer you. And, former fucking World Player of the Year and Van der Fleer, I don't know. When Ben Hur came on,
Gregor Galway thinking that Byrne played well.
Byrne was exceptional. Byrne was standout. Byrne, look, Finn Russell was excellent. Byrne was exceptional. He just fucking hit everything. Look, Curry, in fairness to him, he put in some tackles. He'd done a lot of fucking grunt work. I didn't say he certainly didn't have a poor game. As I said, the back 3 weren't great. Who I was nice to see was Furlong getting back to himself. I thought Furlong had a decent game. Sheen, as per usual, you know what I mean, shows up there with the obligatory try. You can't fucking put him in for 50 minutes and the guy doesn't actually fucking score the try. He's unreal. Who else with Byrne? It's that was about it. But look, as I said, it was just, for me, it was just another kind of, it was a damn squib. It was just, I was looking forward to, after all the warm-up games and the Mickey Mouse fucking games, to a decent test match. And it was a damn squib. Yeah, it's just my opinion. You know what I mean? See what the lads have to say.
Matt, what's your thoughts on the game from Saturday between the Lions and Australia?
Yeah, well, look, it was, the Lions came out flying, right? And they, for the first 20, 30 minutes, they looked like they were going to absolutely annihilate fucking Australia. And as Len said, they got a lot of things right. And they seemed to target like Australia on set pieces, and they were dominating everywhere. And then second half came, and sure, the game was over at halftime pretty much, but they just came out and just did nothing, And for me, that's disappointing, because if that was, say, like South Africa or New Zealand, they'd be in a fucking game. Do you know what I mean? Whereas we all know Australia have been poor, and as Len said, like, that's like Joe Schmidt, that's one of the poorest games he's probably had in his coaching career. Now, granted, like, they have injuries and all that sort of stuff, but even if they had the 2 big boys like Skelton and Valentini, I don't think they would have made much difference. The game was over at halftime, and it kind of takes the spectacle out of it. But if you look at that second half, Australia won that second half. We scored 3 points in the second half, and they had 14 or 15? 14.
14.
2 converted.
No, we got a try in the second half as well. Dan Sheehan scored in the second half.
Oh, sorry, Dan Sheehan scored in the second half.
Just 41st minute.
They still won the second half, and again, if that was better opposition, the Lions would have been in trouble. There was a lot of a lot of outstanding performers in that. Tygburn especially. Do you know what I mean? He was fucking unbelievable. 3 minutes, I think it was 30 seconds into the game, less than a minute or something, and he had a
Yeah.
jackal turnover done already. Do you know what I mean? And that shows the quality of him and why he's so good and is so important, and he'll be definitely starting the second test. As Len said, like everybody fucking blowing smoke up fucking Curry's arse. Like bar the two dominant tackles he had and the try, he didn't do much fucking else. He was very lucky not
Agreed.
to get yellow carded for taking line out of the air. And there was maybe 2 or 3 dominant tackles he had. That was it, really. You know, out of 10 performance, you give him a solid 7. He wasn't anything fucking spectacular or special, I didn't think. And as Len said, nothing that the 2 other boys wouldn't fucking give you anyway. Jack Morgan and fucking Josh Van der Flyer. Do you know what I mean? So I personally, I'd change. I'd give Morgan or Van der Flyer a start next Saturday. Do you know? Now I know Van der Flyer is playing tomorrow, but
And Morgan
if he
shot as well.
So
if
is
he
Morgan as well.
yeah, and if they come out and have fucking cracking games tomorrow, Andy Farrell will think twice about fucking changing the team up, and I'd say he will change this starting lineup next Saturday. Do you know, you might see the likes of, now Genge played really well, but you might see the likes of Porter starting and Genge drop to the bench, or vice versa. Little things like that. If Ringrose plays well tomorrow, I definitely think it's going to be Ringrose and Aki starting in the centres next weekend. The lads did okay, but they weren't fucking spectacularly well. Finn Russell had a great game. I think Gibson Park and Finn Russell really complement each other, and they've done really well to settle down into that with the 2 of them. Dan Sheehan obviously played a fucking great game. Tyke Furlong, I haven't seen him play that well in a very, very long time. He was actually incredible, and it was reminiscent of him fucking 5-6 years ago even. Do you remember when he was playing New Zealand and he fucking stood down 3 fucking lads and kept running like?
Yeah.
It was like Kieran Reid or something. He handed him off and literally picked him up and
Mhm.
dropped him.
Yeah.
So he was fucking brilliant as well. It'd be very hard not to start him again the next test. Maro Atoje. Fuck
I
me.
forgot him.
Like, fuck me. Only he's captain, he should be dropped off the fucking 23 altogether. And I was listening to a podcast today and they were saying, as a captain, he's not really the vocal one, but he's a supportive captain, and that's probably why he was picked more than anything else. Like, he's not the one that's going to be shouting in the fucking dressing rooms, like a Paul O'Connell or an Old Farrell type, and they're fucking just giving it large in the dressing rooms. He's more quiet and articulate is what I heard about him today. But
Yeah.
for me, he really wasn't great. He might have had a couple of tackles, a couple of things here and there. Other than that, again, fucking very little. James Lowe, he played all right. He wasn't great. As Len said, he wasn't his usual self. He had a great fucking run and handoff that ended up in one of the tries at some point. Joe McCarthy was playing really well until he got injured, and I think he was taken off quite.
Yeah.
I think he was taken off quite quickly after he was injured. Unlucky not to score a try. I think if Finn Russell's kick had a been a little longer, where it didn't bounce to McCarthy would have scored. But because of the bounce, and he's such a big lad, and he wouldn't be able to adjust himself
Not
that
as
quick.
agile.
Yeah, he would. If it had been anybody else, probably would have scored it. But other than that, you can't really say Joe McCarthy didn't do too bad. Other than that, Freeman, I thought he had an all right game, a bit like Lowe, but nothing spectacular. I can definitely see probably maybe Hansen getting, because Hansen isn't starting tomorrow now unless he's injured.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if he's injured?
Okay, yeah.
He's got a knock. So whether he's not playing him tomorrow in the hopes that he's fit for Saturday, I would say he might actually replace Freeman on the wing. And Hugo Keenan, I thought Hugo Keenan had a good game, bar his one where he let the try in, where your man,
Jorgensen.
where he caught the ball, but then your man stripped it. But you know,
Yeah, in fairness,
it was
I
just a
thought
strip. You know,
Jorgensen
Max
was
Jorgensen
probably
stripped it.
the best player on the pitch for Australia. He was the only one.
Probably.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent. And the other one then was probably when he came on was Tate McDermott,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I can't understand why
He-
he wasn't starting. To be quite
But
honest with
that's what I heard loads of people saying during the week, though, why wasn't he starting? And
you.
I tell you, the two centres for Australia, Ikatau and Suali, the two of them may as well have been not on the fucking pitch
No,
at all.
they were
They
like
did
they got no
fucking
Australia got
nothing.
no front football from because between the centres and their back they were just
But you see,
dominated
fucking
throughout.
see, Tupialotu and Hugh Jones were just all over them. Didn't
Yeah,
give them the
they
space
were
to
there.
do
Yeah.
anything, and just all the talk of Sue Ali or whatever the fuck his name is saying he's going to be fucking brilliant and he could really get fucking really good going forward ball for Australia. He did fucking nothing. I think he had one run and that was it.
Can I ask you a question, Matt? Right.
Go ahead.
Apart from that, right? I reckon. Do you agree or not? There's two points, right? Because we're going to come to Mike in a second. First one is, do you honestly think that no matter what combination, I think no matter what combination Farrell plays, who's in, who's out, who's two Irish centres, two Scottish centres, who's playing the pack, who's playing midfield centres, whatever. I think regardless of who he plays, they'll probably win all three tests. Would you agree with that? I think we're focusing too much on who's played. I don't think, even with Skelton, we'll say Gleeson those back, I think we're going to win regardless of who he plays.
I would agree with you, and that's why I think he might actually change it up a little bit next Saturday. So, like this team, the team that's picked tomorrow is interesting because you've got another maybe 4 or 5 names that haven't played or haven't even been capped for the Lions yet. You've got Ashman and you've got Sutherland and Darcy Graham and a few other and Tom Clarkson. Yeah, so they're all going to be new caps to the Lions and. You know, if you played that team, you could probably beat Australia with it. And now, like,
But
more
even
than
Osborne,
likely,
I reckon Osborne would have done a better job out in the wing than Freeman done. To be
yeah.
honest with you,
And
on Saturday.
you know, and that's the thing. Like Osborne has a chance. Okay, so he hasn't played yet for the Lions, but he has a chance to show Farrell and give Farrell options to think about because Osborne can play wing, he can play centre, he
Play
can play
full back.
full. You
Yeah.
know, so he is pretty much a utility back, and that'd be he'd slot in on the bench easily to be able to replace a lot of people. So, you know, I think the team that's going out tomorrow, if their sole concentration is to get through the game, give as best account to themselves as possible, and not get injured, they still have a shout of getting picked on Saturday because,
But
like,
unfortunately, Osborne is not going to play centre, that's for sure. Because we have now
no,
5 centres with Farrell included. And
no,
he's
but
now
if
captain tomorrow. So, but like full back or wing, I would have happily had Osborne on the wing instead of Freeman. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or even throw him in at full back.
absolutely. You know, and
Yeah.
like the fact that Kinghorn is playing now, I'd say Farrell will be looking closely at him to see is he going to start next weekend and have Keenan on the bench or what. But like there are still players on that side tomorrow that could actually feature in the match day 23 next weekend. So
By the way, Mac, you got Darrow's giggity in there when you said Kinghorn, so that's sorted anyway.
that's
That's
it.
sweet.
Just before you carry on, because I know you're coming to Mike there, Danny. Just checking my notes here, and I'm just looking here. In every show we've had now for the last couple of months, especially just talking about the Lions, Mike Reedy has said the first name on any team sheet would be Itoje, and more so, he'd have him as captain. So,
Mike
Mike,
Mike
you
Green
still
never
stand by that?
Mike
As a
Green never
brother?
ever said that once in his entire
No,
life.
I
Never
have it
mind
here.
on any show.
Mike.
I guarantee you
Sorry,
will
just
not find. I guarantee you will not find that on any show.
Do you remember that, lads? I mean,
yeah, I
he
do
said
actually. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
he
You're a
fucking
fucking
adamant
liar. The
about
whole lot. You're
Itoje.
all liars.
Anyway,
Mac,
James
Mac,
You
Brennan
don't
has
that's
come
good
find
in
it.
stuff,
there.
pal.
Sorry, James
Mac,
Brennan
Mac,
has come in there.
that's
James Brennan has cleared up that Hansen has an ankle injury, but it's not too serious. So hopefully that he's not being picked tomorrow. to get better for maybe a possible inclusion on Saturday. Who knows?
Yeah.
He could be on the bench for Saturday.
Now we have another one here from James, and he's calling out Mike, which we haven't got to yet. So it must be Len or Matt he's on about here. He said, "Shh." With the yes, Finn Russell praise. Peter's listening.
To
Look,
be
you can't
fair,
look.
to be
In
fair,
fairness,
James, fucking Peter Burke was singing Finn Russell's praises on that other show he hosted there, The Lions Unleashed, with Big Joe Shep. So
Yeah.
he won't be going mad just yet.
I don't think he was singing his praises. I just think he wasn't disagreeing with anybody who said he had a good game.
Yeah. Mike, I'll come to you. What are your thoughts on the Australia Lions game for Saturday?
Pretty much what the both of the lads said. I individually, I agree with Matt. I don't think Hugo Keenan had the worst game I've ever seen. He's certainly not back to himself, lads. He lost 6 or 8 kilos with that
Down to
virus.
Jacks.
Yeah.
I could do with that bug for about a month.
He's not fully fit. But apart from the Jorgensen try, like that was the only kind of a blip. I thought he handled very well. I thought he handled high balls well, and I thought he ran well and passed. I thought he had a decent enough game. I do think that both James Lowe and Tommy Freeman were dreadful, to be honest. Well under par, both of them. Now James Lowe made one really good break, which we scored a try from eventually, but Tommy Freeman was well off the pace, and he kicked two balls straight into touch. Like he was dreadful under a high ball. Absolutely nothing. I wouldn't have given him 4 out of 10, to be honest. I thought our halfbacks were absolutely outstanding, both of them. I thought Gibson Park's box kicking was absolutely a given exhibition of box kicking. On the point every time, by the way. They were the exact right distance, height. They were all contestable. All contestable. Finn Russell had a great game. He marshaled the game well, lads. He's a decent player. We have to put our hands up and say he's a proper good 10. The two centres did their job. Wouldn't get overly exuberant about either of them. I thought they were both. But if the two Irish lads were in there, we'd have had the same return from them. The forwards, front row was okay. Genge had a little bit of trouble in the scrum, couple of scrums. I thought Furlong had a great game. Dan Sheehan is by a million miles the best hooker in the world now, no question, none at all.
Without a doubt.
All his line out balls were pinpoint accurate. Now, I would say what you call is under pressure. Kelleher is under pressure to keep Colty's place. Now that Jamie George is there as well, because his line out ball was below average. He's a lot better than that now.
But Jamie's starting tomorrow, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I would say Joe McCarthy was absolutely brilliant up to the time he went off. Like he's smashing everything in sight, carried well. He's good line out ball. I told you he won a couple of line outs. Outside of that, he was totally fucking anonymous. Totally anonymous.
But you had him captain from the start.
But sure, for fuck's sake, if somebody threw me up in the air, I'd fucking win a couple of line outs every now and
then. I know, but that's what I'm saying. Aside from that, he was anonymous. He made a few tackles.
And you champion them all fucking year. You're saying he's anonymous. Jesus.
Tyke Byrne gave an absolute fucking exhibition of every aspect of the game. 23 tackles. Fucking stole one of their line-out balls and 3 jackal turnovers. It's fucking outstanding, lads. And he was under.
Also, Mike, sorry, that's at 6, right?
Yeah.
Not his fucking best position.
Not his best position at all.
You know what I mean? He's a lot.
He was under pressure, lads. Make no mistake about it. He said it himself. He was under pressure because, and there was an awful lot of media suggestion that he shouldn't have got the call. Andy Farrell knows what he's fucking doing. He knows he's going to get a big game out of Tyke Byrne.
Who was it that somebody said he's a big game player, and when he's playing
big games, Andy Farrell.
Was it Andy Farrell?
Yeah, Andy Farrell. He's a big game player in big games. Yeah. When he needs to stand up and become. Now listen, I don't entirely agree with you about Tom Curry. I thought Tom Curry had a decent game. He was very lucky, though, Matt. I agree with you. He was very lucky not to get a yellow for a fucking high, for a shoulder. Like, it was only because, I can't remember who the Australian was, but his head came up and he made contact with his face, with his shoulder. Now, and also he had another high tackle, which was another penalty, a fucking clothesline tackle, right close to our goal line.
Yeah.
And Earl was also fortunate. We got away with one there,
Yeah.
I felt.
Yeah,
I felt we got away with one there. That could have been given. No, he was dragged over the line, and he did propel him. He actually used his feet to propel himself, so they couldn't give it. And I mean, that was we shipped 3 chances that we should have had tries. Hugh Jones, with a fucking double movement, never released the ball and get a penalty against him. Fucking nonsense. Like, Gibson Park's right behind him. Just throw the ball up to him. It's a try. And James Lowe made a mistake. He needed to give the ball up wide to he had Hugh Jones and Freeman outside him, and he fucking went for the line himself. That should have been a try. Now, those decisions didn't cost us, but if we were playing against South Africa or New Zealand, it fucking cost us.
Yeah.
And Joe McCarthy, like Matt said, if there was anybody else with a little bit of pace, they probably would have got to that ball. But we did enough, but we could have been better. Do you know, in one way, it's probably better that we didn't fucking put 40, 50 points on them.
Yeah.
And they have nothing to play for.
Sooner, right?
They'd be nothing for them. No, the bench was a disappointment. All of the bench, if I'm honest. Apart from maybe apart from the 2 props.
Yeah, Porter was good. Come on.
The rest of the bench brought very little. Now, Chesham did okay, but like, okay, the scrum half was only came on for 5 minutes or something, and Marcus Smith. There was a serious downturn in performance levels when Finn Russell went off and when Joe McCarthy went off.
Yeah.
And so I would say there's food for thought there, by the way. Andy Farrell might have fucking made a wise decision bringing his son out there, because I don't think either of Ross Smith fucking boys are good enough as a replacement even. And if anything did happen to Finn Russell, they're certainly not good enough to fucking start the test match. I don't think either of them.
No, Farrell will go straight in, I reckon.
I'd say Farrell straight in as well, yeah.
And I think it could be I don't see a massive amount of change. He could change the entire back 3, if we're honest.
He could, absolutely.
Because Kinghorn, I think Mac Hansen will play if he's fit. I think he'll play on the right wing if he's fit. And I think
so too. Yeah.
I think Kinghorn could start instead of either James Lowe or Hugo Keenan. I think if Kinghorn has a good game tomorrow and is fully fit, I think he'll go straight into the team.
Possibly.
That means Van der Merwe comes in. Mother of Jesus.
Fucking behave yourself.
No.
He'll never play a test match.
Van der Merwe.
Did he play a test match in the last Lions tour? If he did, he shouldn't have. He's fucking
correct.
It's fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
I would say Joe McCarthy has a foot injury, which is apparently it's the sole of his foot. There's some kind of he's got some condition anyway that he mightn't be fit. You know, he mightn't be fit to play on Saturday. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. But I think more than likely Chesham will go in. Or I would start Ty Byrne in the second row and put Chesham
there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just actually, none of us mentioned Jack Conan. Jack Conan had a great game.
Jack Conan was he's done his job. There was nothing too flamboyant from him.
No, and I think he'll be starting next weekend as well.
He starts. He's not getting dropped. I'll be honest. I don't think any of the back 3 will get dropped, because the media have said, and also Andy Farrell has backed up
the back row as such, rather than the back 3.
Yeah, with the back row, I mean, yeah. I don't think he'll make any changes there unless an injury, because I think Andy Farrell put his neck on the line with both Ty Byrne and Tom Curry, and they both proved fruitful. So I don't see any changes there. There might be on the bench, because Earl did okay, but didn't. I wouldn't be one bit surprised to see.
Again, he was lucky not to see a fucking card with his no arm
Yeah,
Oh,
tattoo.
very,
it was,
very
yeah.
lucky. Yeah.
Like he fucking,
If
it wasn't
any
even,
other ref, and I think it would have been definitely a card, without a doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would think that Andy Farrell has ambitions to give young Pollock a run in a test game off the bench to see what
I'd
he
say
can
I'd
do.
say so. I'd say
No,
so.
Yeah.
I could see him. I could see him starting Porter at loose head on Saturday, and because Genge is a fucking impact player. No, Andrew Porter is not an impact player. He's a steady, fucking strong, proper heavy duty scrummager, and he's good. He's good in the loose, but coming off the bench, I think he's a better starter. I think he's a better starter, and
Yeah.
I'd have him starting along with I'd have a full Irish front row starting there on Saturday or next week.
I still honestly think that, like, okay, apart from, we'll say, the likes of, Clarkson and stuff, that will be more fringe players that were brought out as cover, the
Yeah,
younger lads. I honestly think over the three tests, the core guys will all get a run out at some stage. I think
yeah.
there's as I said, there's no jeopardy in any of these matches. So long as they do the basics right, Australia are just not up to it. And like as Matt said, even if we get Skelton and Valentini and fucking Gleason back, it's probably still not enough. We still have way too much for him, which
I
it doesn't make for, you know what I mean. As I said, look, fucking we Australia under Joe Smith it's a young team, relatively young team, and they're building. I honestly think they're about 2 years too early for this Lions tour.
well,
And
Tom
fucking
Tom
think
Lina Tom
12.
Lina was like, I mean, their halfbacks were absolutely dreadful, both of them.
And
I
yet,
mean,
yes, they left McDermott. They didn't start McDermott.
no, he
What?
definitely either him or O'Connor will start
Oh,
the
I
fly
just can't,
halfbacks.
because Schmidt is like, one thing about him is he's a tactician, right?
Yeah,
And I honestly thought, like, I know they played like much better in the second half. They won the second half, but that was only because we took so many players off and emptied the bench.
But
And
that's
well,
like,
there was a
the
massive difference.
Lions.
Like when Finn Russell went off and then
McCarthy,
Gibson Park went off.
Yeah.
Like that's a massive step down. Let's be honest. Outside of DuPont, they're probably the two best halfbacks in the world right now. Gibson
Oh,
Park
yeah.
and Finn Russell. They are. I think
Yeah.
Finn Russell is probably the best fly half in the world now.
Lads, I will
And
get a few
I
comments
know
here.
Peter Burke's not going to agree with that, but he is, lads. We have to put our hands up and acknowledge
Yeah.
and like playing in a good team like he is right now, he can
Yeah.
shine. He can
Yeah.
shine.
But
He can show what he can do. Um,
my,
he's
I see.
mercurial, though, Russell. He
Yeah.
is he is. He has fucking unbelievable talent, but
his
he is
goal
mercurial.
kicking is his
You know
goal
what I
kicking
mean?
is on point. He's a good passer.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
look, he has.
the pass for two Pilatos try was fucking
Yeah.
30
Oh yeah,
meters,
it
like,
was. Yeah, skip
and
pass. Yeah, it was fantastic. But like, I'm just saying, he like, you see him when he plays his day-to-day rugby. You know, things start going downhill with fucking back, and he switches off. But he is a talent, without a
he's no
doubt.
Maverick
Lovely comments
anymore,
there,
lads.
Danny.
Yeah.
He plays differently now. He's
Yeah.
definitely
But
matured as a player.
Mike, I got
Is that as much to do with the coaching, though? Because I don't think you'll get away with the bollocks on the farm.
Oh
comments
no,
here tonight, lads.
Lads,
Lads,
Danny wants to get up to comments.
yeah. Now, lads, if we can come in for a minute or two, please, please, if that's all right, if you don't mind. Peter here said, well, agreed Mike Byrne was immense. Peter as well saying, in fairness, and I've said it, Russell is having a great tour so far, which he did, in fairness, he is.
yeah.
Uh, now,
Somebody get
yeah,
fucking Peter Burke to smelling salts.
yeah, now, as you know, this is true. Peter Burke was wearing Finn Russell budgie smugglers for the game Saturday. He wears them every time, anytime Finn Russell is playing. To
Of
be
course he does.
absolutely honest, yeah. Now there is one other thing I want to bring up here, lads, and I'll come to Matt with to you on this one first time, Matt. I saw a TikTok there from the Rayburn Shield. He's on TikTok. You might know what lad who's doing it. he was saying he was looking at every Lions towards post '87, and he said the Lions got most of their wins against Australia in that series. Now Peter is saying here the best result for the second test is for an Australian win, just to make it even a little bit interesting going into the last test. But it's boring as fuck. Jesus, it bored the knickers off and on.
Don't go to
But
the next comment.
I know, I saw that. I'm completely avoiding that. No
Good
one
man.
wants to see that. But James did make another good one here. He says, has this tour damaged the Lions tour brand, given how poor Australia are at the moment? No, is this going to be a case of a Lions whitewash of Australia? Matt,
I
I'll come
look.
to you.
I think we're all under the impression and the knowledge that this is going to be probably a 3-0 whitewash. But in saying that, I think Peter has a fair point, because if Australia win the second test, then it's all to play for. Whereas if the Lions win next weekend, that's it. It's over. Do you know what I mean? Australia can't win. So
Yeah,
as a viewer and as an outsider viewing in, that's what people want to see, and that would make it a contest. But I don't see it happening. I really don't.
yeah.
Bar bar an absolute nightmare from Andy Farrell and the lads on Saturday, and Joe Schmidt has done his homework, and the lads come out and play an unbelievable game of rugby. Anything's possible, I suppose, but I don't see it. I can't see other than the Lions win. It might be tighter. If Australia play well, it might be tighter. But I'd say, like, if you look at the last game, like they knew the game was over at halftime, and then in the second half they took everyone off and they just took their foot off the throttle and just coasted to the win. Even I'd say Farrell was annoyed that they let in the two tries there towards the end, and
Yeah, because they hadn't left 15 minutes on this, those two tries.
yeah. So, like, really, the scoreboard flatters fucking Australia. Do you know what I mean? But
No doubt.
Yeah.
but be under no illusion. And I think Mike has said this from I'd say fucking months ago before this even started. It's going to be a 3-0, and I was kind of hoping it wasn't. But on what I saw on Saturday, I can't see anything else.
Mike, do you think this is going to be a Lions whitewash of Australia?
I do,
For a
I do,
couple-
and I'll be honest with you. I agree with Peter. I think it does damage the Lions brand. It doesn't
That's it.
damage the Lions brand. It damages the whole concept of what the
Yeah,
Lions is
sorry,
all
I
about.
didn't. I forgot about that comment. Yeah, I think Mike is right.
Yeah.
So go on, Mike.
Because
You can
it raises the question. Now, it's going to be a different story when we go to fucking New Zealand in 4 years' time. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
They do not like losing to anybody, and especially to the fucking anyone from the northern hemisphere. And
Mike, do you
I
think
think
New Zealanders don't like losing amongst themselves?
oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously the Box that's even fucking more so. But Australia, it's definitely raising the question about is Australia as a rugby entity fit for purpose anymore, and maybe they're not. Maybe they don't deserve a Lions tour. If this proves to be a like when the stadium when you look at the stadium in Australia in the Suncorp on Saturday, and it's a fucking sea of red. Like you think where the fuck are the
Mike,
Australian
Australia
fans?
are the wave of the Southern Hemisphere at the moment.
Well,
They're
They're
the
like,
west side of the
Mike, it was a
hemisphere.
bit like the All Ireland. Fucking see a red in the
shut
stadium.
up, you. No, I think
I let that slide.
if the
I let that
Australian public
slide.
we fucking
and
won't. He's going to get dogs abuse later.
well, the thing about it is as well.
Sorry, I'm a bad man. Keep going,
This
Mike.
game on Saturday is in Melbourne in the MCC, and that's not how fucking Melbourne is not a rugby city at all. Like
Yeah.
compared to Brisbane is the rugby capital of Australia, and if they can't fill that stadium with fucking Australian fans, it looks bad. Being honest, and so the thing is, there's an awful lot of Irish and Scottish and English living in Australia, so they're going to come out. Like it gives them an opportunity to see their Northern Hemisphere players playing again. So they will come. They'll buy the tickets for the games and they'll wear a Lions top.
Yeah.
But Australia, I mean, that game, you said Matt was over at half time, and to all intents and purposes it was. But
Yeah.
had the Lions scored those another 3 tries, we're looking at fucking 50 points, and you know something, their heads would have gone down so low they wouldn't have even got those fucking couple of scores they got in the end
Yeah,
of the game.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and then that would have made the second game. What did they play for then? I actually I see a complete whitewash. Lions 3-0. It would actually be better for the fucking game if us. It would be squeaky bum time right enough now if they fucking did come out and to turn us over,
Yeah.
because
Len, what are your thoughts on the Lions tour at the moment? Do you think it'll
Yeah.
be 3 0
I think Peter is absolutely 100% right. We have to say that because he's fucking the boss. You know what I mean? But no,
Yeah. Mhm.
no, honestly, no, he's 100% right. Because if Australia won the next test, it would give the Australian public something to look forward to in the final test, right?
that's it. Yeah,
It isn't going to happen. Honestly don't think it's going to happen. I said this at the start as well. They just don't have the players.
Yeah.
But it would be good for the game. It would good be for promotion of the game in Australia, to be quite honest with you. And the whole thing of the Lions tour is, well, number one, it's money, right? And apparently, thanks
Like
to the
G.
Lions tour, that the Australian Rugby Union is back in the black, right? And apparently they have been waiting. They've basically been fucking remortgaging, waiting for this Lions tour to fucking happen with the TV rights and the whole lot, because they're fucking in dire financial straits. As I said, it's not going to happen. But aside from that, I was watching the game on Saturday, and of course, the camera, as Mike's point, okay, it was a sea of red, absolutely. The other point was the pockets that were there of Australians. At one stage, the camera panned around, and there was a bunch of sort of 20 odd year old girls. They all seemed to be wearing the same colours. It were like maybe the women's rugby team or something like that. They seemed to be, they were wearing sort of jerseys and stuff, and the Australian flags. It was hilarious because I don't know if any of you noticed it, but half of them were sitting there on their fucking phones. And when they only looked up and fucking got excited when they realised the camera had panned onto them. And that was the level of interest from the Australian fans. Now, I'm sure, right, not all Australian fans, right? But it was absolutely hilarious because if you watched it, it panned around, and there was probably, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 of them there all sitting together in one block. And they're looking down, texting their fucking friends or whatever the fuck they're doing on social media. And, next minute they realise one of them copped to the camera saying, oh, hey, that was the level
But
of fucking, that was the level of interest.
influencers on Instagram.
I don't know what
but
the
but
fuck they were
Len,
thinking, right?
Len,
But
Len,
the fact of the matter
reports have
is,
it.
the,
Len, reports have it
the
that the
Lions tour
global
is
calendar
twofold. It's the money element for the unions that we visit, and the second one is to promote the game. Now, I can't understand somebody getting a ticket to a live game. And the one thing about live games, lads, is we all know that when you're up in the stands watching the game, you see the whole of the game. Whether it's if you're in your local club or an AIL game, or you're in the Aviva or Croke Park or wherever it is, when you're sitting there, you get a much more immersive feel of the game and who's out of position and who's played well and the whole lot. You only get a very condensed view on television. And it
Yeah,
is very hard for us or anybody to look at a game and go, well, he played well and he didn't play well. Because you're only seeing a very small segment, a condensed segment of that game where the camera has panned into. You don't see an overall view of the game. So when you get the opportunity and you have a ticket for a Lions game against your home country, holy fuck, put away the mobile phones, will you, and watch the game and take the thing in.
yeah.
That's
but
my view.
but Len, apparently Sky Sports they hired the Coldplay cameraman to find out things like that. That's what happened there now. But Peter Burke here saying, Len, it's the Instagram fans. We've discussed this before with these influencers. Influencers are not worth a bollocks at all rugby games.
But
Unless
I
the,
don't. Go on, yeah, sorry, go on, finish.
unless the influencer is actually heavily involved in rugby and promoting the game.
Well, the people that they panned around to looked like a team because they were all wearing the
Yeah.
one jersey. So whether they were,
What
for all,
colour were they
look, they
wearing? They
could be
weren't
on
wearing.
Aussie
Were they wearing
rules.
maroon? No.
What?
Were they wearing maroon?
No, they weren't maroon. They were wearing some sort of form
That'd be
jersey, and they
that'd
all
be
had
the
Australian.
local.
So they looked like maybe that, like the camera seemed to know who they were, the Australian cameraman. So like I could be wrong, but it could have been the Australian women's rugby team or something like that, right? That's what it appeared to me. But as I said, half of them were on their phone. So look, I don't know. I'm only surmising here, but the Australian cameraman seemed to know who they were, and he panned in across the whole lot of them. They were all wearing the one kit. You know what I mean? It was looked like a rugby kit or a soccer kit or whatever the fuck it was.
Lads, I suppose we'll move on anyway because we've one more game here to cover. And I'm not sure who we have seen this one anyway, but Matt, I'll come to you this one first. Spanish under 20s 37, Ireland 38. This is a 12th place playoff.
And it was pure shite.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like we've said before at length that this isn't a great under 20 squad representation of squad, but I think like they were up. I think they were up 11 at half time, and then they only won by a point, and they were actually very lucky to win because Spain had come back. And I tell you, like, okay, Spain weren't great either, but they had facets of the game that they were brilliant at. As soon as they got like a line out or a maul or anything going, Ireland could not defend to save their lives. And I think they scored the majority of their points through mauls and mauling over the try line and getting good scores. Like, but there was glimpses of great Irish play, and like when they kicked off, like they kicked off really well and started really really well, and I thought, Jesus, this is going to be a fucking disaster for Spain. But like they
Yeah.
were 14-0 up, and then all of a sudden, just Spain got once Spain got going, and once they got positional on the pitch, they just fucking mauled, and they were big lads. They were fucking. Some of them forwards were fucking big. Now look, the 2 yellow cards didn't help Ireland in the long run with the score, but Jesus, they were lucky to get the win by a point, and like fucking, I had to laugh. They say the 11th place final. Would you fuck off?
It's basically last
11th
place.
place playoff.
Yeah. It's basically to see who finishes last.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't mind, but in that tournament, Spain had lost all 4 matches they had played. Ireland only had that one win, and that was against Georgia in the first round. Or that
well,
first
look, I
round.
mean, you could see it from their point of view because they really wanted to win a game, and
Yeah.
it looked like they targeted Ireland, but they could have easily won, But
Yeah.
I
And
think,
like, to be honest with you, it's a last minute try. It's a
yeah,
last minute try.
to save their blushes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
Then did you see that match Saturday?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with what Matt said. Move on to Mike here.
no, I didn't actually. No, I did. I watched it. Yeah. Like, again, I mean, they went like 14 fucking nil up after 8 minutes, which was absolutely fantastic. Like, we're off to a flyer yet again, right? And fucking hell, under the fucking pump, as Matt said, their pack was excellent, the Spanish pack. And I honestly think only for like 15 minutes out, the red card and the sending off and gave Ireland the extra man advantage was the only reason we managed to stay in it, right? And, it was Henry Walker went over the hook, went over for trying the last minute. And it saved our blushes. So we ended up 11th out of fucking 12th. Now, the fact is, the old story, if me aunt had balls, she'd be me uncle. Because if the fucking tournament hadn't been extended to 16 teams for next year, and we had lost that, we'd have been relegated because we would have finished up in 12th place. So that's where we have fucking fallen from. From fucking squads that were out there fucking competing in the Rugby World Cup, winning fucking Six Nations and the whole lot of the under 20 side. we are now gone for fucking struggling against Spain. Now, actually, I was looking at a thing there, statistics for Spain and Ireland before the game. And Spain had, I fucking, what was it? I think Spain had lost their last 6 games against European sides, which sounds fucking horrendous, right?
Yeah.
And go, well, this is going to be, it's Spain. This will be a fucking walkover. But what I was not taking into account is a lot of those Spanish players actually play for Toulouse, which I wasn't too aware of, right? Because, it's under 20s. You're not familiar with all the fucking players. But I think there's 6 or 7 of them. I'll be corrected. Who'll answer this is, again, Neil McKeown. But then actually, the other statistics was Ireland had lost 5. So we're actually fucking barely over, just ahead of Spain. And
Yeah.
like back to what we discussed last week and the week before is dope demand for the job, and people like the points were made that the under 20s you only have them for a very short period of time. Hey, look, Richie Murphy had him for a short period of time, and look what he was able to do with him. Doak is not the man for the job. It's becoming pretty obvious now that we're in not a relegation battle because, as I say, it has been changed from 12 to 16 for next year, so we couldn't be relegated. But bottom of the Six Nations. That is fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
It's poor form, and you need to be breeding confidence into these under 20 players. Like, we have some fucking great players. Tom Wood at 10 is fucking. I think there's a chance that this guy is going to really kick on. Maloney, there's some good fucking players in that team. But yeah, look, I don't know. Change at the top. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Yeah, there has to be. Yeah, there does.
Mike, your thoughts on the Ireland Spain under 20s game?
Well, like the lad said, I'll be honest with you, I only watched the highlights of it now. I missed the game, the live game. Not impressed at all, if I'm honest. We started the game really well, got a couple of tries. That young boy, that centre from Ulster, Scott, Scott.
Yeah,
he got a couple of tries, and we, like Matt said, fucking Spain mauled us over the line at will. They scored fucking 3 maul tries. That's not good enough in any fucking game. We spoke, like we've all spoken about, is Neil Doak the man for the job? And people are saying there's a turnover of players, like Len just said. Richie Murphy had a turnover of players. As we went from fucking winning 2 Grand Slams in a row. This is only in the last 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
We won 2 Grand Slams. We drew with England, which if we had beaten them, we'd have won a fucking 3 Grand Slams in a row. Yeah. And we've gone from that to winning 1 game in the Six Nations and winning 1 game prior to that Spanish game in the fucking World Cup. Like, that isn't against Georgia. We beat Georgia. Now, Scotland had never fucking beaten Ireland. In fact, Scotland's game against Ireland in this 20s tournament was their first win ever in this World Series.
Yeah. Don't forget Italy. We lost Italy. We also lost Italy, Mike.
Twice this year.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying Scotland had never won a fucking game in this tournament.
No.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near good enough, and like the players can't be that fucking bad. But
yeah, so now there was a comment in the group because I posted the result of the game later on Saturday, and Peter asked the question: do you believe in Doak, gents? But one of the persons said in the comments of the match result was that Doak is probably at best a club level coach. That though
I don't think he's a head coach. Not at this juncture. He's
yeah. I think we said this before that he's not really a head coach. He's more of like an attack coach or a defense coach or something like that.
Yeah, he's better assistant coach than he is head coach.
Yeah.
The proof in the pudding is in fucking results. It's a results game, lads. However way you dress it up. Yeah. And it's the same as fucking. You're only as good as your last fucking result. Look at Wales, the way what they descended to, like as a senior team. fucking 18 losses in a row.
And barely beat Japan to stop it making from 19.
And God only knows what if they'd lost that game, lads, God knows what would have been ended.
Yeah, I
Ireland,
think you have to. I
apparently
think
they
you
were
have to
going
be
to
a
drop
special
out of
kind of
the.
coach though for under 20s. Do you know what I mean? Because you ain't getting a chance to build a team. You don't have
No, it's a difficult
the
gig.
privilege of that kind of time limit to pick and choose. You're handed a bunch of players that are at that age group. So I do think you have to be a special kind of manager.
Well,
To
Richie
Yeah.
be
Murphy had this.
Yeah, but obviously, look, Murphy has that. You know what I mean? And I think you also have to get number one. You have to have a system and a set of tactics. You have to have that mind frame, and then the next problem, then you have to get the guys to buy into that. And Richie Murphy was well able to do that. Like, all fairness, he is starting to build with Ulster. You know what I mean? Their
Yeah.
defense is porous at times, but he is a good manager. But he was able to do that, and I honestly do think it isn't. Look, in all fairness, fucking lads, it we can criticize Doak, and he isn't the man for the job. I don't think he is, but it's not the easiest job in the world to try and get a group of youngsters and mold them into what you want in a short period of time.
Yeah, limited games.
Yeah, with limited games, you know what I mean. But I do think I don't. Maybe he doesn't have the game plan and the tactics to begin with. You know what I mean? You could be a man manager, but if your tactics and game plan is shite,
Well,
as,
another
as
thing.
Mike said, getting mauled over for 3 tries. I hear, fuck's sake, there's something
Well,
serious.
also, like it's what you get out of these 20s teams, like going forward. Now, Richie Murphy, the three teams that he coached over the course of 3 seasons, several players have come through from Leinster
Yeah,
and from even
Munster.
from Ulster, like from all the provinces, and like they've made a step up to senior level. So that tells you he has an influence at coaching younger lads. And you know something, in hindsight, maybe it was a fucking bad idea to take him away from that job.
Yeah, you could be right, Mike. Yeah.
Because like for the benefit of Irish rugby, maybe he's the man that should be there for fucking the next number of years. I don't know, but it very very possibly could be a very he has the special requirement that's needed for coaching these young lads and getting the best out of these young lads. And
It's something you might
Mr.
go back
Doak,
to the Mike.
Mr. Doak mustn't have or doesn't seem to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
because I think
like in every sport, you'll get a coach that can inspire youngsters, whether it
Yeah.
be minor hurling or fucking rugby or whatever it is. You get a coach. Stop fucking grinning, Danny Brosnan. I'm fucking not mentioning hurling. I'm just as a boy, right? It could be
just
also
not
be
there.
it
Fuck's
could also
sake,
be it could
Gordon.
also be fucking Wendy ball, right? I'm just saying, right? You do get these inspirational coaches that can take fucking young minds and fucking develop them and
Yeah.
teach them what you want to do. And as Mike said, Richie Murphy obviously had that. He done it over 3 seasons. He was very unlucky not to get the third Grand Slam, which would have
Yeah,
made history. So he was our most successful under 20s coach. So yeah, maybe from continuity point of view, from bringing these lads from academy, under 20s, whatever, through to senior level, maybe he should have been left in place. And it is very important. So maybe our view should have said, well, okay, let's remunerate you to the same fucking, maybe not head coach of Ulster, but like
yeah,
fucking make it worth his while to stay there. It's very hard for any coach that's under 20s to turn it down and go, well, I've been offered a head coach of a province. You're gonna fucking take it.
You are,
yeah,
because
Yeah.
we're still not sure if this actual batch of players are below the standard of the previous 3 seasons. We don't know for certain one way or the other, which we would have found out if obviously if Richie Murphy had still been in place, we would have.
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
But it's hard to tell. But there was certainly Like to go to the depths of getting fucking hockey, getting beaten by Scotland, and then almost losing to Spain. Jesus, lads, the writing's got to be on the wall for the coaching ticket. Then I would say anyway.
Has to be.
Yeah, has to be. But lads, I suppose we'll call it tonight. Until next week again. Matt, Lynn, Mike, it's been a pleasure, lads. Until
And
next time, take care.
Cheers,
all the
lads.
best, lads, and come on,
Hello.
Tipperary.